Hey guys, it's StarTard here, and if you haven't noticed already, I am using completely different sprite arts for my Pokemon. Thanks to Showdown, I can now use my favorite Generation 5 Pokemon sprites. Um, and I am using an entirely different weather team. I'm using a Hail team against one of the worst matchups for me, Rain, because Hail just really has no options against any of the other weathers. Um, it has slightly more versatility against rain just because Abomasnow has Wood Hammer, but that really doesn't make much of a difference if the opponent is packing lots of Steel Pokemon. Um, and because of that, I main Alakazam, which is a nice special attacker and can learn Focus Blast to deal with Steel. And I also main Hidden Power Fire on him. And I also use Infernape as a Sun Pokemon um, to deal with the Sun and Sandstorm, and I also use Landorus for that same reason as a revenge killer. Um, so I am going to be using the instant replay format from now on. I am not going to be using the replay format from before. So now let's begin this 6th episode of Weather Wars. So I'm going to lead with Abomasnow, and thankfully I get the weather off first. I lead with an Earthquake already, and he Perish Songs first thing. So he gets buffeted by the Hail, which is good. Little chip damage there. So I switch in with Kieran Black, and thankfully do not get burned by the Scald. I happen to be very, very unlucky with the RNG of Showdown, and, well, I'm just really happy I didn't get burned. So I predicted that he'd switch into Vaporeon or stay in, and I killed him with Fusion Bolt. That was great. He misses with Thunder on the Jirachi switch, which is very, very fortunate for me, because Infernape is just so frail. So he switches into Vaporeon, and I predict that. I close combat him. And it does almost half his health, which really isn't that much to Vaporeon. So I try to Thunder Punch to deal some damage, and he scalds me to death. I really didn't need Infernape for this battle other than to wear down Vaporeon. So I send Alakazam in right here to deal with Vaporeon, and I Side Shock Politoed, which I guess did some damage, but not too much. So I switch into a Scald, and unfortunately I do get burned here. But I managed to change the weather back to Hail, so he switches out into Jirachi, and I predict that he'd stay in or go into Vaporeon. So I Wood Hammer, and it does nothing. And with the burn, I am going to gradually lose health, so I switch out into Landorus. And his Jirachi will use Wish, and I am going to try to take it out with Earthquake. He switches into Politoed, and I do deal some nice damage, but unfortunately the Wish does bring its health back to full, or at least half full. He Scalds, and my Abomasnow, with the burn and all, doesn't matter, but I still don't want him to die. So he switches out into Lucario, and I use Hidden Power Fire on it to deal over half its health. Abomasnow with Hidden Power Fire is very, very strong, and it can predict a lot of switches. So here I switch into Landorus for obvious reasons, so I don't lose my Weather Inducer. He crunches, and it doesn't really do any damage. So he goes in with Politoed, and I U-turn, and I go straight into Cure him. And here I'm just going to go on a rampage. Literally, I Outrage for almost half the Jirachi's health, which is insane. He Thunders me, and thankfully I don't get the Paralyze. Thankfully he doesn't get the Paralyze, excuse me. So I switch into Mamoswine, and I absorb a Thunder. He, I think, is going to switch. Yes, he will switch into Lucario, and I kill him with the Earthquake. As you're about to see, Mamoswine pretty much cleans this guy's entire team out. Earthquake kills Vaporeon, and here he gets kind of mad that I outspeed his Toxicroak. He asked me in the chat what Toxicroak's max speed hit, and I was like 209 versus 259, and he was a little upset about that. So I ended up killing his Toxicroak and his Politoed, so he only has poor Jirachi left. I send in Abomasnow just to put the weather back to Hail. He kills me with Signal Beam, and it really doesn't matter at this point. He's going to get Wish back, but again, that doesn't matter either, because I'm just going to blast this thing apart with Fusion Bolt. I could have Outraged, but it's not quite as effective. He gets the Paralyze with Thunder, but at this point it doesn't matter. he signal beams, and Fusion Bolt will take Jirachi out. And that's the battle, guys. So I was very happy to win my first battle with Hail, um, which, as I said before, is a very, very terrible weather, just a very terrible weather team to use in general. So if you guys want to challenge me, remember, just go to my discussion board on my channel and just send out a challenge, and I'll address it. So like, comment, subscribe, and until the next battle in this long war, alright guys, peace.